Blaze Ingram ran so fast at 7 years old, timers didn't believe their own stopwatch. LeBron James saw the video and stopped scrolling. College coaches saw it too and started calling before this kid even finished elementary school. Now, at 14, he holds offers from 10 different colleges. But here's the twist nobody talks about. His most famous time was never even confirmed. Rudolph Ingram was 6 years old the first time the internet noticed him. A clip of him juking defenders on a football field spread across social media, and CBS Sports picked it up and shared it with millions of followers. People started calling him the ankle breaker. That was just the beginning. His father gave him the nickname that stuck, Blaze. He explained it himself in one interview. People knew him from running so fast that they started calling him Blaze. And he even wears a chain with the name on it. On a field or a track, nobody could catch him. By age 7, Blaze had already run a 100-meter dash in a reported 13.48 seconds. To put that in perspective, Olympic legend Usain Bolt's world record sits at 9.58 seconds. A 7-year-old was only about 4 seconds off the fastest human being alive on paper. That single stat turned Blaze into a household name in youth sports and pushed his highlight videos into millions of views. Reporters and fans across the world questioned whether the footage had been edited because the numbers seemed impossible for a child that age. But that number came with a problem. No official track federation confirmed the 13:48 time. There was no certified electronic timing system running that day. Sports writers who studied the viral race footage noticed something odd. The starting line in the video sat well ahead of where a real 100-meter line should be. When they measured it out, the actual distance looked closer to 85 meters, not 100. Here's what that means. Run 85 meters in 13:48 seconds, and the pace lines up almost exactly with his one official verified time. 14.59 seconds, recorded at the 2018 AAU Primary National Championships in Florida. So the eye-popping number wasn't necessarily fake. It just wasn't run on a real 100-meter track. That's the uncomfortable truth behind most viral kid-athlete stories. The camera doesn't lie, but the setup around the camera sometimes does. Blaze never had to prove that day. His father, the man managing every campaign and every social post, has always stood by the record. Blaze grew up in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, training out of Zephyr Hills with local youth teams like the Bay Area Jaguars and later the West Chase Colts. His father, Rudolph Ingram Sr., is a former college football player who now works as a sports agent and runs several companies of his own. He's the one who handles Blaze's Instagram page, which had already crossed 730,000 followers, along with accounts on Facebook and other platforms, bringing his total reach into the hundreds of thousands more. Blaze trains like it's a full-time job stacked on top of childhood. Wake up, work out, eat, go to school. After school, back to training, eat again, train a third time, 3 sessions a day, on top of homework and grades, for a kid who was still in single digits when this routine started. His father has said the family treats consistency like a business principle, applying the same discipline to training that he applies to running his companies. He backs it up with real numbers beyond that disputed sprint. A 4:29-second 40-yard dash is elite even by high school recruiting standards, let alone for a middle schooler. He's collected 36 medals across amateur track meets, 20 of them gold, at 2 different national championship events. Those medals came under real supervision with real judges at real meets. No controversy attached to those. He's also shown off elite jumping ability, clearing box jumps taller than most kids his age, adding another layer to his athletic profile beyond straight-line speed. Florida A&M made the first move. When Blaze was just 11 years old, the university's director of recruiting called him directly and offered him a scholarship for after high school graduation. On that call, the recruiter told him straight, "You still got a long way to go, but you got a good supporting cast and definitely a worker." Blaze posted the entire call online, and it spread across sports media within hours. That offer cracked something open. Delaware State followed a little over a year later, led by former NFL wide receiver Deion Jackson in his first year as head coach. Then Sacramento State joined in, a program pushing to move up into Division I's top tier and looking to build relationships with talent early. Blaze described getting that call from his dad after school, saying he thought it couldn't possibly be true, and that he was super hyped once it sank in. The offers kept stacking after that. Alabama State, Central State, Colorado State, Florida International, SMU, Warner University. The University of Texas at El Paso rounded out the list as his most recent addition. By the middle of his final year before high school, Blaze had 10 official college offers on the board, all before he'd played a single down of high school football. Recruiting analysts pointed out that programs extending offers this early aren't making any real commitment. It costs a coaching staff nothing to reserve a name, and it builds a relationship long before anyone else even knows the player exists. Beyond the college interest, Blaze also picked up a full-ride offer to play at St. Francis Academy in Maryland, one of the top high school football programs in the country for developing future professional talent. He ultimately chose a different path, staying home in Florida instead. Verbal offers to kids this young aren't legally binding. A coach can pull one back at any time, and so can the player. Recruiting experts have pointed out that colleges are simply staking an early claim, betting on potential they can't fully measure yet. It costs a program nothing to make the call. If the kid doesn't pan out, there's no harm done on their end. Blaze isn't even the first child this young to get an offer. Other kids have landed college interest as young as 9 or 10, which tells you this is becoming a pattern in recruiting, not a one-time stunt built around one family. For families, the stakes look different. A child this young is already carrying pressure that most adults never face. Public expectations, a growing fan base, and a training schedule built around a career that hasn't started yet. Blaze says he plays multiple positions, from running back to cornerback to kick returner, which keeps his recruiting profile flexible. But it also means colleges are betting on a body and a game that will change enormously between now and his actual freshman year of college. A kid's height, weight, and speed at 11 years old rarely predict exactly what they'll look like at 18. And every coach extending an offer knows that Blaze himself seems to understand the balance required, at least in how he talks about it. His advice to other young athletes wasn't about training harder or chasing viral clips. It was simple: keep your grades up, because without them, none of the athletic talent matters. Stay consistent and appreciate the people supporting you along the way. For an athlete whose entire public identity was built on raw speed, that's a surprisingly grounded message to lead with. Blaze recently announced where he's headed for his freshman year of high school: Tampa's Gaither High School, joining a program that's seen plenty of roster movement through transfers in recent seasons. He's part of the recruiting class of 2030, meaning he won't even graduate high school for several more years. Everything that's happened so far, the viral videos, the medals, the 10 offers, all came before he's played a single high school snap in front of a real varsity coaching staff. The next few seasons will be the true test, because middle school highlight reels and National Letter of Intent Day are two very different worlds. That's what makes his story different from the usual youth sports hype cycle.